Bonjour tout le monde. We're going to talk about making our nouns and articles plural. Like we saw with le café, with very many of our nouns, we can make them plural by just adding an S at the end of the word. Let's talk a little bit about some of the exceptions. It doesn't matter what the gender is of a word that you would add an S to. But now let's look at words that end in EAU, which we'll see in the singular. For those, we're going to add an X at the end instead of an S. And then for most nouns ending in AL, we're going to drop the AL and add AUX. So let's have a look at some examples here. A typical masculine noun, meaning it doesn't end in EAU or AL, is l'objet. So this is one that we are going to just add an S to, and notice what happens here. The word for the has changed as well. Les objets. Now let's look at a typical feminine noun. Now if you notice that our masculine noun began with a vowel, that's why we had an L apostrophe instead of the word le. But our feminine noun here, la télévision, begins in a consonant, so we use the whole word la. So as we can predict, we're going to change the word la to le, and we're just going to add an S to the end of télévision. The word télévision does not change in its pronunciation. Listen and repeat. La télévision, les télévisions. Notice how they sound the same? It's just the word for the that sounded different there. Now let's look at a noun that ends in EAU. Le bureau. Le bureau means the office. It also means the desk, like a teacher's desk. So let's change this to the plural using our rules up there. Okay, le bureau. So instead of adding an S, let's add this X, and we will have les bureaux. Did you remember the les? Okay, now let's find a verb or a noun, ending in AL. L'animal is an animal. This is an ending that we pronounce, l'animal. Now, if we change this to the plural, we remember that this is going to change to les, right? And look what happens. AL, we're going to drop, and we're going to add AUX. So we will have, instead of l'animal, les animaux. And that's how we pronounce that. You hear a difference, don't you? L'animal, les animaux. Practice it. L'animal, les animaux. Now, when we make things plural, we might have a bunch of people. And we learned that a word like ami can have a way that you spell it that it's masculine, and it has a way that you spell it which is feminine. What this is saying is, refer to a group composed of males and females with a masculine plural noun. So, les amis, if it was a bunch of friends who were girls, then you would have seen les amis, you would have seen an E in here. And this could be the case. If you had a room full of 1,000 girls, you would call them les amis. It would sound just the same, but you would have an E in there. In this room of 1,000 girls now, one boy walks in, and that means that you have to change it to this masculine plural form. Look at this word, les étudiants. Remember how l'étudiante, you heard that little E at the end? Well, l'étudiant is the masculine form, but you had a classroom with 1,000 girls in it, and so you were saying les étudiantes. You pronounce that there. And now one male student walks in. So now you're going to refer to the whole group of people there as les étudiants. And if we look here, the English definite article the, so the word for the is never going to change in English for number or gender. But for French, you have to make sure that you use the correct word, le or la, according to the gender. And then if you have something that is plural, you're going to use the word les. So this kind of sums up what we're using. Le tableau for the picture or the blackboard. L'ami for the male friend. And this is one that starts with a consonant. And you notice here's something that starts with a vowel. Here in the feminine, la librairie, l'université. Both le and la in front of a vowel are going to become L'. Now, that's going to make a difference. It's not only the gender that it accompanies, but if it's also starting with a vowel, that will matter. What makes it easy is making it plural. Le and la and L' all turn into les when you're talking about plural. And you notice how if you have to translate all these words, the, they all mean the. Okay? So that's a little review of making our nouns plural.